Hi, I'm Dan Kibisky, co-chair of the Society of Professional Journalists International Community. And this is an occasional series of short talks with journalists and experts from around the world talking about journalism and press freedom. These small talks are designed to help keep our members informed of what's going on and to introduce them to some new people in the program. With me today are two people from the Association of Haitian Journalists Living Abroad, Luc Bonhomme and Jasmine Vendredi. And I know that's an English pronunciation of the name. I'm sorry, I just don't do French very well. Luc, Jasmine, thank you very much for being here. I guess first, we just need to know, tell us about your organization. When did you found it? Why did you create it? And what do you hope to get out of it? So Luc, you can go first if you like, or Jasmine.
Jasmine, do you wanna go ahead and answer that question?
Yes, I can do that. Hello, Dan. Thank you for having us. So the idea of the association came from a group of journalists who actually had a show, and they still do. We can think specifically about Bidouille d'Orsainville. So the show is Espace Diaspora. It's this show co-hosted by Samuel Trésil, Romain Ernest Wilfried, Marc Sonny Jean-Baptiste. So the idea came from that show, and of course, Claudie Jean-Jacques, as well as Terson Forisme, they joined the group and decided to literally launch this idea of finding a way to get Haitian journalists who live abroad to, get together. And the beautiful thing about our association is that if you had work in the press in Haiti and find yourself anywhere in the world, you have a place in your organization. And this whole idea came, unfortunately, from this misadventure, I would say, or this bad event that happened to one of our brothers in Haiti, Georges-Alain Emmanuel, who was attacked by police officers during a rally, during a protest in April 2020. So, from this bad situation came this beautiful idea. Of course, as a lot of things we know that happens in Haiti, a lot of beautiful things come out of sometimes chaos. So that's what happened. And so we've been around since, I would say, May 2020. I don't know if I've said everything, but that's how, the association started.
Could you tell us a little more about the situation with the reporter, the tragic situation that brought about more people thinking about wanting to form this organization?
Well, Georges-Alain Emmanuel at the time was working for Radio Télécaraïbe, of course, journalists in Haiti, they go to cover different events, and of course this situation happened. Even though he had clearly identified himself as a journalist, he was attacked and beaten up by police officers, and it was an unfortunate event. And it's something that happens that we have seen happening a lot in Haiti, where journalists are attacked. And when we talk about attacks, we can think that Georges Emmanuel Alain was just lucky to come out of this alive, because as we know, historically, we've had some pretty horrible assassinations that have happened against journalists. Journalists disappear or their bodies are found. So it's a pretty dangerous profession for people in a place like Haiti. So I don't know if I've answered your question, but that's really where the need to actually call out the police first and the government, and of course the society as a whole, to seriously think about freedom of the press, what we mean by it, right? It's about protecting the lives of those who bring the news to the entire community, to the world, basically.
Now, having been an expat myself a few times, I always appreciated the foreign correspondence clubs. You know, we can go in, see people from our own country, maybe from other countries, working, you know, all of us working in a foreign environment. Is this some of the thinking behind your organizing your organization of Haitians living abroad, working as journalists?
Yeah, this is a very, very important question. To kind of like, to that extent, I would say that it came out as kind of like a platform. So we wanted to create a platform to kind of like bring Haitian journalists together. I mean, it's unfortunate that it happened in that, you know, situation where Georges Emmanuel Alain was beaten by the cop. But the other side is that we wanted to create that platform, that kind of social space where Haitian who are, you know, in the diaspora could get together and you know and form bonds and talk and debate and discuss about, you know, what is going on in Haiti or in the Haitian communities around the world. So it's kind of like this social aspect and also emotional aspect also of the organization, because we believe that we are a people who has been traumatized, you know, for a long time, and we want to have that kind of like relationship, you know, among each other, to create that space where we can talk to each other and also create those kind of emotional bonds. So that's perfectly said, you know, by you. Yeah, that's one of the reasons as well.
Okay. Now, that's all well and good, but your message needs to be told to a larger audience as well. So, I mean, here you are on an SPJ program, and we've talked in the past about maybe possible ways that we could work together. Are you planning, I mean, is this part of your goal, is to work with other journalism organizations within the United States or in other countries where you also might have members, to maybe bring something new to the table that a local chapter or a national organization of journalists might not have?
Absolutely. Then, to that effect, I would say that, of course, we are, you know, professional journalists. A lot of us are. A lot of us still have, you know, still doing this work even abroad. Some of us do have radio shows, like I said, with the founding members of the organization. So yes, the answer to that question is yes, and we are eager to do just that. Be available and be the resources that we know that other journalist associations might need to properly do the work. And you know, who better can tell the story of Haitians, whether they are Haitians immigrants or Haitians communities around the world, or Haitians living in Haiti themselves, if not Haitian journalists. So we are that resource that's available to other journalists, and of course exchange is the main it's what's guiding us here. I don't know if you'd add anything to that.
Yeah, definitely. We want to branch out. We want to create, you know, partnership with as many Haitian association of journalists, you know, internationally and globally. So we really wanted to kind of like to bring to kind of like to bring awareness to what is going on in Haiti, in our community, and also trying to find, you know, like-minded association that can actually give us like exposure, where we can actually talk about the things that we want to do for our community. So definitely the potential partnership with SPG. I'm actually a member of SPG, observer member, and I'm also trying to encourage, other Haitian journalists who are part of AGHE to also become, members of SPJ. And we are currently talking to another organization. I think it's in Egypt. I forgot the name of the association, but we're also trying to branch out. I recently wrote to an association of journalists in Rwanda. So I'm trying to. I still have to hear back from them. But yeah, definitely, we want to find, like-minded, association, and then to kind of work together and to facilitate, the progress of our organization.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, Jasmine, do you want to add
Oh, no,
something?
I was only going to add, that of course there is this aspect of collaboration that we want to start, but one of the key goals, I would say, of our association is to be this door open to the world for our brothers and sisters that are in Haiti themselves. So we want to be able to assist them in their efforts to, of course, become better at doing what they do, because there is this aspect of the organization where we have those insights, I would say, of the profession in Haiti, but we also acknowledge the needs that they do have, that we do have, and hopefully somehow developing those partnerships can help with that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. Yeah, the educational aspect of our association is also big, because we want to provide a space where Haitian journalists who live in the diaspora and in Haiti can actually also learn together. So we provided workshop, we provided master classes. So we had one recently about journalism and ethics. So we're trying to kind of like also educate the next generation of journalists, because part of our mission also is to transmit the knowledge and experiences that we acquired along the way, so that we can have a better, profession in Haiti in terms of like journalism. So we are very conscious of the fact that we have to do something to contribute to help the next generation become better at what they do.
Okay, you kind of took away the final point, the question I was going to ask. What kind of work have you been doing, or are you planning on doing? And you've really seemed to have stepped up a lot with education programs and support for journalists in Haiti. Just to wrap up this introduction to your organization for our members and whoever else stops by our YouTube channel, is there anything else you'd like to add? Something you'd like to say? Why people should be interested in getting in touch with you, or maybe wanting to work with you on programming or any kind of activity?
I mean, definitely the education aspect is huge, but also like giving exposure to the organization. For example, SPG, SPJ will be very useful in that manner, to kind of like to spread the word, to tell people about what we're doing, and also trying to kind of like come up with certain projects and plan that will advance our mission. So we really want people to know about us, and also trying to kind of like help us to achieve some of our goals. So I would say that is one thing that is very important to us, and also trying to present a different, I would say, perspective about Haiti, because, we've had, a bad press, and it's usually when things are not going well, you hear about Haiti. So we really want to show that, we are working, we're trying to organize ourselves to better represent the profession, and also Haiti in a way, in our modest way. So that aspect of it as well is very important to us.
Oh, okay. All right, Jasmine, any last words you'd like to add?
Well, one would be for Haitian journalists, women mostly, who live abroad, who happen to see this video, to contact us, because we need even more women involved. We even have a different type of membership, I would say, in our organization. So anybody who has any type of interest and who has been working this profession as a journalist or any other type of press worker, I would say, has a place in this association. So we'll be quite happy to have more people showing interest into what we are doing. Just as an example, very recently there was those articles published by the New York Times about the debt, I would say, that France has.
Debt of independence, yeah.
And we had a pretty interesting debate about it. So those things that we do, anybody, like Luc said earlier, who's willing to learn more about Haiti and how Haitians approach the world, our association is a place for that.
Yeah, if you allow me to kind of bounce back on what Jasmine said, this is very important. Those articles that were published in the New York Times, we really want people to know also about our history. So who's telling the history? There's this idea of silencing the past, or whoever has power tell the story. But we have to listen to the voice of the subaltern and the people who actually experience and are victimized by the story. So I think that would also be something that could help trying to kind of like learn more about our history and our kind of place in the world and what we represent, historically, and and who's telling the story about Haiti. You see what I mean? There's this idea of, can the subaltern speak? And when the subalterns speak, who listen to his voice or her voice? So we're trying to kind of bring attention to that, so that we can have a better, kind of a more positive kind of representation of our history and of our nation in a way.
Hey, I want to thank you both for being here. And my parent organization, the SPJ, would be very upset if I did not stress that people can be members of your organization and the SPJ.
Mm-hmm.
And I would very strongly encourage your members to join not only the national SPJ, but to join their local chapters as well. Because as you said, there are stories to be told that aren't being told well, and in some cases not being told at all. And I think your members of your organization participating in our organization can help our members learn more about the history of Haiti, but also make sure that more of the stories in American media are better. I'm not going to say they're not balanced. I'm not going to criticize them, but we always know any story we do at any time can always be done better when you have better sources. And I think your organization could provide us that really excellent source of information to make stories better about Haiti and to get more people to understand what the situation is there and what the situation is for journalists in Haiti, as well as some of the trials and the tribulations that you face as journalists, as Haitian journalists in the United States. And obviously, as you expand around the world, in those other countries as well. Again, thank you very much for being with us today. I really appreciate it. Do you have a website, or is there a way for people to contact you?
We do have a website. It's www.ag.
Well, I'll tell you what, give it to me, send it to me as an email. I'll make sure it gets put in with the video, and
Yeah.
people will have it then, okay?
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Dan. It's been a pleasure.
All right, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.